have experience with film. I'm going to college to make movies and stuff. So I was super excited when I was told I'm making a documentary for English class. I sat down and I said, oh, it'd be super brilliant for me to make a documentary about how documentaries are made. That'd be super funny. I'm super funny. During pre-production, I did my research, I collected my sources, I interviewed my friend Daniel, and I had an epiphany. Not only do I have experience with filming, so this is going to be super easy, but I also have a fantastic contact, Daniel, who literally works in documentary making. And to top it all off, I actually have something engaging and interesting to say, so if I don't get an A on this project, it is rigged and Miss DeAndrea hates me. Okay, so movies are awesome, but they're fake. You got actors, you got props, you got sets, stuff like that. It's all fake. It's done to tell, a tale. It's done to tell a story. Even nonfiction stories, it's not the actual person, the actor, and you're not in that right exact place at the exact time that things happen. It's different with documentaries. When you watch an interview, you're watching a real and intimate experience with two people, and it can often be very emotional. It's really cool. Real reactions, real emotions taking place. Dean Duncan, a documentary review guy, said, "In its earliest years, film production was dominated by actuality, short pictures of real people in real places. These films favored an unmediated view of the world over an arranged spectacle." Dean's talking specifically about Nanook of the North. It was the first documentary, and it was about Inuit life. It was just some dude hanging out in the Arctic with a couple of Inuit guys hanging around, and it went up on the big screen, and it was shown, and it was awesome, and people loved it. And it was so incredibly influential, and it laid the groundwork for all modern documentaries because, what you saw there was real, and, that was the first time people saw real stuff, not fake or actors or Charlie Chaplin or something like that. All right, number 2. The process is exhausting. Do you guys remember how you had to plan your interview with your person? I'm sure you did it great because you're all capable and stuff, maybe. But you did it wrong nonetheless. Even I did it wrong. Here's a quick overview of what you need for an effective interview. And you want at least a couple of those from a couple of different professionals. Just one guy isn't gonna cut it. That's just talking to people too. That's easy. You're also gonna want what's gonna roll through the anecdote corner real quick. I don't know if it's on this side or this side yet because I haven't edited it, but yeah. Undoubtedly the hardest part though is editing. Editing and interpreting whatever footage you got. Creating a cohesive story is actually planned for after all the filming because you can film great, amazing things, and then you'll switch to filming a different thing, or while editing, you'll find the story while filming, you're just recording random things, The story is made in the editing process, in the editing booths. Despite all its hard work, though, it's fun, period. Just storytelling in itself is fun. Bossing people around on a controlled set is fun. Working and handling this kind of equipment, it's fun. Yeah, that's why all the complicated things I've mentioned above are a positive. They sound really difficult and hard to do, but it's a lot of fun. It's crazy. I'm going to go back to editing for a quick second. Bear with me. The process of editing is super important. You need really smart people with a lot of media literacy to do that kind of stuff.
Do you also struggle with basic media literacy on essays or lack of connection in day-to-day life? Try the new Decipher Disc. You will understand the subtext and underlying themes in all sorts of media. Since I've had my Decipher Disc, I've suddenly understood the underlying themes in books such as The Great Gatsby, Crime and Punishment, and Horton Hears a Who. Get the Decipher Disc today!
Raw footage can be hundreds of hours, but editors are the people who trim it down to its most essential parts. Determining what those essential parts are is super important. That's where you need the media literacy. So you can look at a big group of stuff and decide which parts are the good parts to tell the story. That's what's important.
Like I made a film on Jennifer Moreno, who was killed in action, and we interviewed somebody who knew her, was there with her. And she was just so compelling, I went and made a film about her. You know, sometimes you got to be an opportunist in the best sense of that word.
I'm actually going to hand this bit over to segments from Daniel's interview because, you know, this is his job. You know, he makes documentaries for a living. He has personal experience with this kind of stuff, so I'll just let him talk about it.
But the core crew is pretty consistent. Like I try to shoot only with one cinematographer. I try to produce with one line producer. I try to edit one editor or two editors, actually about four editors. You know, because that's pretty tight. And then I have two or three animators. The first rule is best idea wins. So I have a crew. We've been working together a long time so that we're not stale. We always bring in new people. We're always bringing in grips and gaffers and second camera and sound people and all, you know, all kinds of folks because you got to innovate. The second rule is really important. It's called the NA rule. No assholes. So if you come on our crew and you break that rule, that means you're a jerk. You're mean to people. You're disrespectful to people. You're late to shoots. You don't deliver. Whatever it is, you don't come on another one.
Not to mention, getting into film has led me to meet and work with a lot of cool people. Like, I've talked a little bit with Daniel. We might be doing something next year together. The people who worked with me on some of my previous works are awesome, and they're my best friends. And it's just meeting those people and having those connections also add to the pros side, because there's a pros and a cons. And this is on the pros. I'm gonna edit that in because I'm an editor too. On a 5-star scale, I give documentary making a 4.3. There's a few reasons it's not a 5 on the, and it's mostly because documentary making isn't my personal project. You know, I like John Wick style movies with bright lights and lots of contrast and like awesome action sequences and long shots. And documentary making isn't really that. There's a lot of editing involved, and that's not my favorite thing. Because of how expensive it is, dude, hundreds of thousands of dollars in this one room, I'm telling you. Dedication is also a factor in this that I didn't really talk about. And it's a good thing and a bad thing because, you know, you love what you're making. You get super invested into your projects. But that can lead to massive burnout and like not good stuff. I'll have Daniel talk about that too.
I've made a couple of films now on women killed in action, and it just wiped me out for a couple of years. Yeah, it just wiped me out. I couldn't make another film like that, coming close to it.
Burnout is a huge problem. And yeah, that's pretty much it.